Why do you think Pep's struggling this season to motivate the players, to get the best out of him, especially the players? I know there's guys that have done 4 peats, and that's fair. They've been here a long time. They're bloated. But Doku's not been here that whole time. He's won one of them. Savio's only just joined. They spent 200 million euros in January. So that's 4 new players that don't have that excuse. So there's a lot of fresh players in this team as well. Why is the manager, in your opinion, not getting the best out of them?
I think people are not scared of them like before. Man City used to go into games and the people were fearful of them. Brighton from minute 1, I think Vitor mentioned this like weeks ago. He said, other teams step on the pitch and they're not scared of us. They are okay to... Today I saw Brighton passing from the back and other teams do it as well. Other teams in the league that when they played Man City, they're not scared of them. So the players don't have that edge over the opposition, and Pep is struggling because they aren't scoring a lot of goals. Pep is struggling to give confidence to these guys, to be honest. Yeah. And it is on him, by the way. It's not on the players, by the way. We're going to repeat the same what we said for Jurgen Klopp. When you see a whole team up and down and you see 5-6 players on the pitch not performing well, that is down to the coaching staff. It's not to the player. You cannot tell me that. If Savinho by himself is having a bad game, I'm going to say Savinho. But if we have 5-6 players, they're below bar, I think that is down to the coaching staff leading by Pep, to be honest. And it's Pep Guardiola. Somehow, I don't know what happened, but something is broken at Man City at the current moment.
What's broken? Be specific.
I don't know. Like, confidence is...
No. It's okay not to know. I mean, we're fans, we're watching, we're seeing a lot of inconsistency. And this is where it's like Mo talked about it. Fear is actually earned, right? And we earn the fear by what we do to teams that we play throughout the season. And when we have results of teams coming to the Etihad or getting results late or playing to the 90th minute and being able to get a draw or a winner, you're going to get teams fighting us from minute 1 to the 90th and beyond. I think we got to get back to or earning that fear, and it's going to require Pep to adapt, which he has before. I disagree with what Terry said early in the show in terms of Pep not being adaptable. I mean, we've seen him do that throughout the years. We've seen him not have a striker and make the system work. I think he's going to have to reinvent himself, and he's going to have to reinvent this team with different players. The players that were here that had this core, like we've all talked about, and we're comfortable, we're ready to see them go, possibly a KDB, possibly a Bernardo Silva, as well as the defenders as well. We have to say farewell and let them move on. But this game in particular, shout out to Brighton. They're one of the most informed teams in the Prem. It was always going to be a fight. Patrick said it. He predicted a loss. You know, I was hopeful for a draw, and I was also like stressing out and hoping that we could get a late winner, not because we deserved it, but because we were still in it. I think there's just across the board a lot of changes that this manager does. I'm also, listen, yes, I'm a City fan, and maybe I'm going to be overly defensive. But guys, when my winger are absolutely able to get into challenging or threatening positions, I'm at the very least happy with that. I want my winger in Savinho, I want my winger in Doku to at least break their man down and get into threatening positions, because that's half the battle. Now, find some composure, poise, and look to see whether you can serve the big man or take a proper shot on yourself. That comes with a little more confidence, comes with some certainty in terms of your ability. And Savinho's trying to find it. We can see that because he was trying to get that goal early this season, and we were all losing our minds. Like, calm down, Savinho. It'll be there. Doku was cooking all day long. And this is where I look at Arteta, I look at Arsenal, and I'm like, you know what? I wish I had that on the right side. When we saw Odegaard and Saka, and they play in terms of tandem, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. They're in sync. They know what one's going to do. I see Doku cooking on that side by himself, or he's looking for help from a defender in Gavardio. Pep's going to have to change that up. Pep's going to have to find a running mate with him on that side to make it work, because there's a lot of, oh, Doku, here's the ball, go and do your thing. And then everybody's off foot and trying to react to what he's going to do. Next season is where we're looking at. If we happen to be out of top 4, if we happen to be out of top 5, and this is also another thing where I challenged, maybe not Terry, but some of the panelists, and I'm like, no, this City being favorites next season, that's got to be earned. So the way it looks right now, it's a battle to get top 4, top 5, and it's going to be a fight to see whether we would deserve to be favorites next season. Right now, there's no way anyone should be putting Manchester City as favorites to win the Prem next year.
Facts.
Thank you. Thank you. But people say we're haters when we say these things.
No, listen, I hear where you're coming from with that. I do. I understand the logic. A few comments here. Jeremy Doku Goat says, why don't you blame Foden? I will say this. Today is about today's game. There are some overarching points being made, but when we're reviewing today's game, someone that played 20 minutes versus players that played the majority, if not all of the game, you're never going to put as much focus on them because it's a match reaction about that. On a show later this week where we maybe talk more about City's season, he will certainly come up. He's been mentioned and criticized by myself and by dozens of my panelists for the entirety of the season. So let us not pretend that on the football terrace, between even myself, our panelists and rivals of City, that Phil Foden has not been criticized. But today, he barely kicked he was barely on the pitch. So it's hard to criticize him more than Doku and Savio, than the defenders today that had disgustingly bad games.
And Terry, especially if you have an Arsenal fan on your panel, you know Foden will get brought up.
Yeah, that's it. Ad here says, facts, Foden is the worst Premier League Player of the Year winner in history. Comparing his bum with 4 goals in his whole England career to Rooney was it was so crazy. Hashtag Stockport fraud. I mean, he's never been as good as Rooney. That is a fraudulent comment.
Rooney is just elite. Rooney is elite.
The greatest. I am a Porto fan, and Nico was very good for us, but I saw City fans comparing him to Rodri, and they are delusional. You agree with that, Steve? You really agree with that?
Yeah, Eustáquio at Porto was more of the Rodri role, the Canadian midfielder. Yeah, he was more of the box-to-box. Nico wasn't that it. I was actually talking about this with Kels during the week, like build-ups to the game, talking about Gonzalez and like people thinking, oh, you know, he's the Rodri replay. He's the Rodri. It's like, no, I don't think so. Like maybe Pep's going to coach him into it.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's the Rodri backup, but there's no way he's the Rodri.
No one. See, this is a fraud. You know, people like it. That's why it's called purple butterfly. There's never a butterfly that's ever been purple. This guy's a fraud. No one as a City fan would ever say a Ballon d'Or Rodri is Nico. No one. Everyone. If I knew Alan Varela. I never knew this Nico Gonzalez. I had to ask Barcelona fans about Nico.
Hang on a minute. Hang on.
I don't know where people get this Rodri.
I've got to stop you. Did you just say that no butterflies are purple?
I've never seen a butterfly that's purple.
You're off your nut, mate.
Show me. One second.
Just Google.
This is. We should not talk about butterfly. We should talk about this fraud who's saying City fans. Which City fan said that?
Hang on. Look, I just Googled it, right, while you said that. Just because what you said, I just thought, what do you mean? I mean, I swear I've seen purple butterflies in my garden, right? I Googled it. Took me 30 seconds. There's loads of them. What are you talking about? There's no such thing as a purple butterfly.
Google,
Come on.
Google's different, man. Listen. No, this theory about Nico. Nico had a good game. Don't come and crash on Nico.
Nico was bang average today, mate. Come on. You're a City fan. You know this. And listen, if you say he had a good game, cool. He had a good game if you're an average team or you aspire to be an average team. The standard you have set, the manager you have, the money you've invested, the expectations high, like every other member of the top 6. And if that was Casemiro that dropped that performance today, if that was Basuma that dropped that today, if that was Gravenberch who did it, if that was Declan Rice that had that performance today, you would all be absolutely saying bang average for the money, the club, the status, the salaries, and absolutely rightfully so. This was a big money signing for you. I'm not writing him off. I'm not saying he wasn't good. No, but he's got to do more than not do nothing. You can't say someone had a good game just because they didn't do. What? No, good. He was beige. He was meh. He was a 6 out of 10. He was a mahogany wall. Sorry, not mahogany. What's that color that's like cream? I bet Kel knows.
Off-white.
Off-white. No, it's got a name begins with M. What's it called? Women are normally better at this, Kel. I'm sorry to gender stereotype, but women are normally much better with paint colors than men. What's that color called? Someone in the comments tell me. There we go. Magnolia. That's the one. He was Magnolia today. He was just meh. He was okay.
You want to talk about a standout?
He conceded because of 2 errors. He was not responsible. I think he was a better player than Baleba today. He bossed Baleba.
No, Baleba had much more. No, Baleba had a bad miss.
Barring the miss, Baleba's performance today was special, and I think I jinxed him because I wrote a tweet. I was about to say, I wrote a tweet that said, Believer's performance is bringing a tear to my eye. and I was about to send it, but I swear on my life, it was there ready. And then he missed that chance, and I thought, I ain't sending it. Me typing it ruined it for him. To compare Nico's performance to Beliebers today, Hassam, the sun must have been in your eyes today. I'm not Hamza, sorry. You must have. That's because when you say delusional things, I think of Hassam.
Terry, but I have an answer for that though. I can tell you this, and if anybody was watching Man City, Nico actually looks better than Rodri when Rodri came to City. Rodri used to stink, Terry. He used to stink the gaff. Rodri cost us. He cost us the Spurs game in Madrid. He couldn't run. He was hooked off. He was just poor. He couldn't move anywhere. Until Pep said, "Oh, he needs time to adapt to the speed." So, as much as Gonzalez is being obviously given this pressure, which I think is pressure at this moment, I think he's going to come good. I think he's going to be because he actually looks better. I'm telling you, go see Rodri's first season, Terry. It was terrible. They used to call him the slow brothers. They were just horrible. But anyway, it is what it is. Is that a wine bottle?
I understand that. Like I said at the top, like I said a few seconds ago, I'm not saying he won't come good. I'm not saying that I'm not writing him off. I'm talking about today's games.
Oh, yeah, today.
Yeah.
I think he's going to the top. I think he'll be world class. Remember, I said to you.
Yeah.
Nico Gonzalez will be world class.
Stop saying players will be world class. Stop.
Stop
doing these things, bro.
Stop.
You said Doku will be world class. You said Savini will be world class. These are long-term statements. Nico Gonzalez might come good. Nico Gonzalez is 23 years old. He already played in one of the top flights in Portugal. He looks okay. He doesn't look like City level yet, right?
Yeah.
So make that statement. Say, he'll be world class, bro. Like you can't just say that now. It's not in the dark. What is it? What have you seen from the guy? You literally just 2 minutes ago told us I've never heard of the guy.
2 minutes ago, you're saying no one was comparing him to anyone. No one's getting ahead of themselves. Then he's world class, bruv. Honestly, you are.
So he will be world class.